Hey everybody, today we're going to be making steak and gravy, and this is one of my family's favorite meals, and it's pretty simple to do and a very hearty and delicious recipe. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to use this really large pan of mine. I'm going to put Crisco oil in it. And it depends on how much you're going to make as to how much oil you use. This is probably about a cup and a fourth. If you're using a smaller pan and less meat, of course you're going to use less of the oil. And I have put the burner on high to get it heating so we can brown our meat. And this is what I'm using, and it's cube steak, and it's 4 pieces, which I'm gonna cut up. I'm just gonna cut each piece in half, and I'm using my kitchen scissors, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut those in half. There's no problem leaving them. I just like to cut them into pieces that are just a little bit smaller. So while my oil is heating, I'm going to cut that. Okay. Then I have a pan of flour, and to that I'm going to add salt and pepper. This is, as you know, is my salt and pepper container I work out of, and I'm going to put a pretty large pinch of salt and less pepper, just because I'm not a great huge pepper fan. So I have put those 2 things in, and now I'm gonna stir that up together. I'm gonna see if it looks like that needs to heat just a little bit more. But I'm going to go ahead and take my cube steak and cover it with the flour. Press it in nice and firm so you have a good coating. I don't do an egg wash or anything. I just put it in there like that. I'll get a couple pieces ready and then go ahead and put it in the oil. And you want to brown each side. I like to get it a little crispy. So I'm going to go ahead and get all these pieces in here and get them cooking. And what flour that we have left over, I'm going to use for making the gravy. And when you make this, if you have extras left over and you want to, it freezes really good. So you could put it in the freezer and then have it for a meal another time, where you could just pull it right out and heat it. So now I'm just going to let this cook and brown on both sides till I get a nice golden brown. And then when I come back, we'll continue on with the recipe. The cube steak is finished browning, and we're going to go ahead and continue on now. And here it is. We're going to take it out of here and put it in a pan, or you put it in a plate or bowl or whatever you want to put it in, because you'll be putting it back in here after we make the gravy. But here's what it looks like, just browned. I had cut the heat down. I'm cutting it back up. See, you have a lot of little pieces of meat and flour and stuff in there, and that's good. That's going to give you a lot of flavor. So now here's the flour I used to roll my meat in. So I'm going to just use it to put in my grease from my meat. And the rule of thumb is you want about half and half grease, half flour. And so I think it's going to take all of that. And so I have made gravy before. I don't know if you've seen my videos, but what you want to do is kind of brown or burn your flour just a little bit, because that takes the taste of flour out of your gravy. And you can see, I hope, that the little cooked on pieces of the meat and the flour and all that's coming up, and it's going to be in your gravy, and that really makes it good. So this part might take a minute while the flour is browning. And if you're cooking this, you might want to start a couple hours ahead of when you want to eat, because you do need to let this simmer very low. I'm going to do mine for a couple hours because it'll make your meat so tender. And I do not like cube steak that it's like it has little I don't want to say tendons, but little, I'm trying to say something that won't make you think it sounds bad, but it's tough. I'll just say it's tough, and if you let it cook a couple hours, it will, it'll just fall apart and be so good. Today, I'm going to just make my gravy and put my meat back in it and let it simmer in this pan. You can also brown your meat in the pan and make your gravy and then put it in a crock pot. And you could do that like the night before and then put it on low if you're going to be gone for like 8 or 9 hours. And when you get home, you know, make it the night before and stick it in the refrigerator. And then put it on low the next morning and your meal would be ready. Or sometimes I put this in a casserole dish with a lid, and I put it in the oven on 300 or 350, depending on how long I have to let it cook, and let it go for a couple hours, and it gets good and tender that way. So you have a variety of ways of doing this. The old-fashioned way is to do it in the pan. And another tip is you want to make this thinner than what you actually want the gravy to be, because as it cooks, it's going to thicken up some. So if you make it your desired consistency of your gravy when you are ready to eat, it's going to be a little too thick for you, probably. So this has browned up nicely. So I'm going to add milk, and I'm using 2%. And I'm sorry that I don't normally use measurements, but that's how I have always cooked, is just by eyeballing. So, you want your gravy, like I said in this case, to be a little thinner than how you want it to be when it's finished. I know when my mama would fix this when I was growing up, it would be, I would be so happy because this was one of my favorite meals. When you add your milk and it starts bubbling like this just did, be sure and cut it down so it's not splashing out of the pan on you, and just add milk little by little till you get the consistency that you want. You can always add more milk, but it's not very easy to take it out. And I like using this big pan because you have more room for your meat to be able to be in the gravy and to cook up nice and tender and not be stacked up on each other. So I think I want my gravy just a little bit thinner so that when it's done it'll be about how that was when it's finished. So that's good. Now I'm going to take my meat and add it back to the gravy. And do not have it simmering too high. If you do, this will burn on the bottom and it'll get real thick on the bottom. If you feel like you need to come in and kind of stir it, like, you know, have your spoon, the rounded back of your spoon on the bottom, to stir it every now and then, that'll be fine. If you think that it might be sticking or something, but if you have it low enough, it'll be fine. So that's how you make it, and I'm going to let it simmer probably about 2 hours real low, just where you can see little bubbles popping, and when it's finished I'll plate up some and let you see how it looks. I'll talk to you shortly. Everything's ready, and I'm going to go ahead and dish up a plate for my husband with meat in it. And here's what it looks like. The cube steak and gravy. And here's his plate. There's rice to put the gravy over. And we had cabbage left from yesterday, so he's going to have that. And so I'm going to get him 2 pieces of the steak. I'd like to put some gravy on it. And then I'm going to put gravy over his rice. And see how the gravy thickened up while it was cooking? So this is it. and it's always something our family really enjoys. So there you have it. I hope that you get a chance to make it, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.